Good morning. Just read a great article in the Toronto Star, the Moneyville section on the web, and you can read the whole article if you look at this URL right here, and or just go into Moneyville through the Toronto Star or the Star.com. Sorry. And you know what? I always like these articles because they do take a look at things as far as the investment in real estate. But I think they miss a couple things, and that's what I want to point out here. They talk about this home in Toronto that over 112 years the house is a so-so investment. They said talk about a man buying the house back in 1906 for $1,200, and it just sold in November for $825,000, which sounds like a pretty good investment. But they take it apart. One of the things is they take it and compare it to the stock market. Now, the one problem that we have is that the stock market and a time of really tracking the house, as you'll see in the article, came down to 1947. They started tracking it. And the house sold for $6,300 at that point. And so over the last 64 years, the house appreciated. What they figured was an average of 2.3% adjusted for inflation. Inflation is 3.9. So really the number here is it went up 6.2%. Yes, inflation you've got to take into consideration, but just so we've got a good understanding of this, it went up 6.2% per year for the 64 years. Now, the Toronto Stock Exchange, on the other hand, they said did marginally better, and it was about 3% plus your 3.9 inflation, so about 6.9%. So you've got 6.2% that the home went up, 6.9% the Toronto Stock Exchange went up. Now, here's the problem with using comparisons like that. That number one, we don't pay cash for a home. So if we buy so just using today's figures in our local area, if we went out and bought our first home for, let's say, $250,000, we put 5% down on the home and mortgage the rest. We'd have CMHC fees and so on. Now, one thing I did not consider in this is your closing costs, which I guess I should have done that. But for using your down payment, $12,500. Okay, your mortgage payments would be $1,167 a month, and your taxes would be approximately $250 a month, which gives you just under $1,420 a month payments. Now, obviously, you've got utilities and so on. But if you went out and rented that same house, it would cost you about the same amount of money. So whether you buy or rent, it's going to cost you the same amount of money to live in that home, except for your maintenance on the home. Okay, that would be the only other thing. But if you take a look at using their numbers that they use as far as the 6.2% a year in increase in value. If you took that $250,000 house, you owned it for 5 years. Based on 6.2% per year increase, that would make that home worth $318,000 in 5 years. Your mortgage, in the meantime, will have decreased down to $209,000. Which means that $12,500 has actually increased by 872% in 5 years. Whereas if you took that same $12,500 and put it in the stock market at the 6.9%, your value would be $16,331.67 at the end of that 5 years. So you're $109,000 ahead with the house, and you're not quite $4,000 ahead in the stock market. There's a couple other things to consider in it. You've got some maintenance, but even taking off maintenance over 5 years, if you get a good solid home to begin with, there's not a huge amount of maintenance that you have to worry about in a home that first 5 years. If you've had a home inspection and so on, or if there is, you know about what's coming. But also, when you own your own home, when you go in there and you paint and you decorate and you do the things that for your enjoyment, they're for you. When you're renting, the rent's going to increase every year. The nice thing about you owning, you've got a mortgage you lock in for 5 years. The only thing that you have to worry about increasing will be your taxes on the concern of the house. Utilities, increasing, decreasing, don't matter because you're going to be paying them whether you're renting or buying. Okay, so read this article over, and if you have any comments, I'd love to hear your comments. And enjoy the article, enjoy your day, and hope to talk with you soon.